Hello there, Pastafarians, it's me, Schizophrenic Mitch. Here I am with Joe Leroux, and today is our Friday Pastafarian worship service and invocation. I'm Schizophrenic Mitch, like I said. I've been a Pastafarian minestrone for over 1,000 days. You can see my credentials online. I've been doing these services for quite some time here on this channel. We are attempting to do many things here, none the least of which is assuage our desire to worship. There is part of us that seems sort of servile, seems like it'll worship whether we against our will, as it were. So we who must worship must find something worthy of worship. So that's what we are attempting to do today. Please join us. We welcome you. We thank you, those of us here now live with us, and those of us who will listen to this in the future, which is of course why we're listening to hopefully not copyrighted music. The producers are very, very upset about how much music we listen to during our daily stream, where we just sit around and talk about Christianity and stuff like that, religion and the damage it does to this planet and how it's going to burn it in a big fiery bowl of hate, and how we can fix that. But that's not all what we're doing here, though we may do a little, I guess. But what we're doing here is dealing with the fact that we are ritualistic animals, eh? And if we do something over and over and over, it has a tendency to make us feel a certain way. So we here are taking responsibility for that sort of placebo effect, as it were. And yes, I generally talk about a lot of things before we get to it, but I am very, very under the weather today. I was up late last night, regurgitating some of the things that I ate up into the toilet because apparently my stomach didn't want them, which is weird. I mean, I wish I had a better way of communicating that thing to me than keeping me up all night, calling me names, eh? And you know, it hurts after a while. Those last like 5 or 6, you know? It's fucking, we got it, eh? I think we got it now.
Yeah, it feels very hopeless at those last ones.
It is dark times. And also, there is sort of a moment that happens before you're going to throw up, and like well before you're even aware of it. There's just sort of a doom and a dread that your mind sort of falls into, just the sort of existential, just oh shit. Like it's very, very gloomy right before, and then you're like, oh, I was about to throw up. That's why I was thinking about all that stuff. Very odd. So please do let me know if the noises that we're hearing are too loud. They're often too loud, and I'm often very mumbly. So we don't want that to be the case. Please do let me know. We will adjust the sliders. In fact, I've already adjusted it, just because I didn't like the way the fucking things were bouncing. So there you go. I've made some decisions. Tell me if it's like, no, give me some more fucking cowbell. So this is our very professional show. This is our most watched show. But like I said, during the week we have a practically daily show where we talk about daily things. We try not to get too political. That's basically what we do over there. If you have any Christians with questions about what it means to be a Pastafarian, what Pastafarianism is and what it isn't, please do send them our way. We can set them straight. Now remember that every Christian doesn't have to understand the Bible. They just have to be able to point you to someone who does, right? And they just often say things like, well, if you were talking to my preacher, he'd be able to explain it to you. Well, you know, as your preacher, that's very, very true. So send them my way. I'm there around noonish my time. Well, afternoonish my time. Every other day, every day-ish. Yeah, send them my way. We can have some conversations. So, yeah, I like to go over the very low-level ideas that we're dealing with here over each time we get to this sort of space that we are, which is during our once-a-week rituals. Every 7 days it happens, we can't, like, put it off. We have these yearly rituals as well, and the more time there is between these rituals, the more momentous they feel to us, eh? The more we need to control them, or we won't be able to handle them when they happen. You know, rituals like marriage and things like that, and once-in-a-lifetime things. Sometimes the ritual is so great that it overpowers the people involved, and we're doing it for dead men instead of ourselves, eh? So, we as responsible Pastafarians, we who know that the religion that we have in our mind is unique and made up and man-made, and we've got to find a way to make that religion not turn into something that Christianity turned into, something that you can't fight wars over. We've got to take control of it, make it something that can't be fought over. So, and we find ourselves doing it on a weekly basis because of the rhythms, eh? Because of the sine waves and the cycles and all this shit, eh? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We live on a clock. Hands keep spinning. So here we are, another week, another Friday, another celebration, and another reason to remember to be cautious, right? Not get carried away with the rituals. Tell the rituals where we want to go instead of go real where the rituals tell us to. So, these are my rituals. I like to talk about morality. I like to talk about responsibility. I like to declare my worship of truth. I haven't found many things worthy of my worship other than truth and conversation. I would invite you to find something worthy of worship. I would invite you to declare what it is you worship. To accept maybe the Christian's argument that if you don't worship Jesus, you worship something else. And find something to say instead of Satan, which they say are the only two options. Find that third option, which is better than those two, eh? It's not that hard once you start thinking outside of the box, eh? Once you start accepting that Jesus and Satan are the same answer, and you've got to come up with yours, then it's pretty easy. So, I worship truth. If I must worship something, and I can't get out of it because I cannot overcome the limitations of this experience I find myself in, I choose then to worship truth. That's what I choose. And so you're going to have to do a lot of convincing to prove to me that worshipping a book is less dangerous. So, that's what I'm doing here, even though you may say, but how can you say you're worshipping truth if you're creating such a fiction right now? Well, I mean, you know, you can worship the light by understanding shadow, as it were, right? Going into a very dark cave and being like, oh yes, I see. And, you know, I am fascinated by the idea of placebo. I think I'll preach a little bit about placebo right now. Because unfortunately, when I talk to people about placebo, I say, do you know what it is? And they say, yes, I know what it is. It's something that doesn't do anything. And that's absolutely the point that I want to make, is that's not a placebo. If it doesn't do anything, it didn't placebo. So only the sugar pills that do something are placebo. And you can know it's a sugar pill, and you can know it does nothing. And you can still hit your placebo. You can still do it. Against your will, as it were. And so, I like to be... I don't think maybe I can control my placebo response, but I can, you know, be aware of it and point at it. The interesting idea is, the placebo effect happens a lot. If you are feeling ill and you go to the doctor, you are giving yourself placebo effect because you think going to the doctor will help you out. And so that starts right away. That's that feeling of like, okay, your body does it. As soon as you like decide and get on the phone and make the appointment, as it were, you're giving yourself this drug. And every drug that you take also contains placebo. Like, it's in there as well. So it's not like you're taking aspirin or placebo. It's you're taking placebo with no aspirin or placebo with aspirin.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, it's okay to take placebos. And you know, it might be more difficult for me as a man because of how, like, I've never, like, done the pill, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where they just tell you straight out, some of these, and they mark them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these are nothing. Eat them anyway. I'm like, okay. So that's the point. You can know. The point is it still works. And that's sort of like with an optical illusion, right? You know, when you're watching the magic, the point isn't, did I fool you, right? The point is, isn't it crazy that still works, right? That's what we're looking for, is the ones where it's like, did I do it really well? Or it's like, no, when you do it like this, they just can't see it. Your eye can know it's happening, and when you go like that, the optical illusion is always done. It's always kept. If you can keep the motions such that your brain can draw the lines, it cannot believe that it's wrong. So that's why I will attempt in a very few short moments to invoke into this reality something that is impossible and made up and nonsense, because you'll feel how real it is, and then we can be free to create any nonsense we want, right? We'll know that the nonsenses we create are reflections of us instead of things that are asking to be worshipped. People looked into the sky and they saw the parts of the sky that reflected exactly them, right? That's what you're seeing through there. It's an optical illusion. There's parts of the glitter, right, that are pointed at lights. That's why it sparkles, right? Because some of those facets make a reflection to you in a light. That's why glitter sparkles. And so when you look out at a bunch of glitter and some of it is reflecting you, you'll see all of it and you'll be like, something's out there. It looks like it's got two eyes. And it looks like it's trying to figure out what's out there. So, that's the reflection of you. Yeah. The burning bush said more about Moses than it did about God, I think. The tablets he walked down said more about those people than they did about the Creator, I think. Yeah. So, you know, let's go see what God looks like today to us. Let's go create it. Because, you know, all gods are man-made and we're men, I think. So let's go be men. Let's go create our gods. Let's go reflect them out in the world so that people can't fucking forget us, eh? But, yeah, very dangerous, very stupid, very, abusive, eh? This sort of, fun, stupid game that is meant to just, tickle our addiction, can set up systems of abuse that, live for generations. So, wow, what a dangerous toy we love to play with. So bizarre of us. Don't know what to do about that other than, not care and play with it anyway. And like I said, I don't, like I do say, I don't, prescribe this for you, eh? I don't believe that I've got that pad for prescriptions. I'm not even sure that I can do that. I'm just telling you what my prescriptions are, eh? I'm taking omeprazole for the heartburn, and I weekly invoke the creator of reality for my religious addiction. I'm sorry if you also have a religious addiction. What a very sad state of affairs that is, eh? I look around at these children that are being taken into these addiction, you know, centers.
Mm-hmm.
and just forced to have it. I find it to be very strange. And so I hope very, very, very much that's not what's going on here. I'm just scratching mine, and hopefully you had one and that's why you're coming on by. Because it's nice to have clinics where you can do the needles safe, right? Isn't that right? If people are going to be using needles, well, let's have them use safe needles. That's what's going on here. So I don't advise this. What I am is condemned to this as an addict. I'll never overcome it, eh? I'll just right? In Alcoholics Anonymous, you're just recovering. That's what they say. But anyway, I'm gonna reload this fucking bowl here, and then we're going to talk to the creator of this universe, the creator of everything, the imaginer of morality, as it were. If just things that are impossible, just absolute contradictions that just don't care about it. That's Flying Spaghetti Monster, right? Much wiser than us, much greater than us. And as I said last week, there might be nothing in the universe that's not Flying Spaghetti Monster, is one of the important ideas. Is, everything that you see might be Flying Spaghetti Monster, and he might be everything that you can see, and he might be more than that, right? So, you know, it's hard to think of me as Flying Spaghetti Monster, as you as Flying Spaghetti Monster, but, you know, we're just him, or Quab, sorry. We are just Quab observing Quab self. So, you know, the sort of brotherhood is, I think, retained. And to prove such, I will now stroke the string, pluck the note in me. And hopefully that will travel along the noodly appendages up into the creator and then down into you. And let's see if we are connected right through the heart. Oh, Flying Spaghetti Monster! Oh, creator and imaginer and dreamer, oh, stalker of my life! Oh, arranger of things such that they are pleasantly amusing. We come before you today as, mere creatures on this rock. Mere apes, attempting to build higher and higher and ascend further and further along this path of morality towards, hopefully, ultimately, you, creator of truth and giver of love. We ask thee again to please fuck right off out of our lives because of how you told us we were grown-ups and you told us we were the ones who were supposed to be responsible for this. So please allow us to do that, and when you show up in our lives and attempt to undermine our authority and our decisions in our own lives, it makes us feel like the decisions that we make are pointless and meaningless, and that there's nothing we can do to change this world, and oh, how wrong we would be, Flying Spaghetti Monster, if we were to think such a thing. So please fuck off so we don't accidentally think that. Oh, Flying Spaghetti Monster, creator of love, we thank you for this very strange feeling of love, this desire for the well-being of another person other than me that comes out of nothing that I can discern other than some sort of magical force in me given by thee. The desire to love and to desire the well-being of not just myself, but those compatriots of mine stuck in the same fucking problem that I am alive now. And let us continue, please, Flying Spaghetti Monster, watch over our collaboration as we continue it. Please help us take this language from such guttural and obvious statements to the very sublime and subtle, such that we can communicate ideas to each other quickly and freely. Please assist us as we seek truth. Please help us in our journey forward, that we will be determined to face forward, to greet the future as it arrives as celebrants and participants in the brand new day. And oh, Flying Spaghetti Monster, help us as we live up to the responsibilities that we so foolishly thought we were capable of achieving. Please help us be good friends and spouses and parents in this cooperation, in this collaboration. And we say these things, Flying Spaghetti Monster, in the name of truth, in the name of love, and in the name of you, the Flying Spaghetti Monster, the creator of all things. Ramen! And so, Pastafarians, maybe you felt nothing. Maybe I didn't do it right. And that's fine. You know, I was sick last night. But this is not really about me, and it's not really about whether or not you were able to feel the noodly appendages of Flying Spaghetti Monster because of what I did. Because I'm not trying to trick you. I want you to trick yourself. I want you to see if you can make yourself feel those feelings, and if you can, aren't you a prophet? If you can bring Creator of all into the room that you're in, that makes you a prophet, and you have something to say. And I don't want you to say what I'm saying, although it is flattering, it is very kind, if you do. I'm not telling you to, stop. But I am saying, but what are you saying? And I'm not saying come up with it right now. I'm saying take time right now to think of your rituals. Don't do the rituals, eh? I don't want you to be crazy like me. I want you to be less crazy. I think you can fit in a little bit better than me. Don't do what I did. Don't fall all the way off the mountain. Don't get to the peak. When you talk to God and He tells you that the whole world's on fire and He had nothing to do with it, it fucking makes you crazy for the rest of your life and you can't think of anything else. You can be normal. That's fine. Find your own rituals. Find your way of give and take, conversation, collaboration with this fucking crazy group that I can't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Find your spirituality and do it right fucking now. Alright, Pastafarians, I don't mean to intrude. If you need more time, please do pause whatever this is. Take it for yourself. Think about your own rituals, your own sort of spiritual journey, whatever you're doing. See if you can find something that makes you feel that the flying spaghetti monster is talking to you inside. Denver Mescal says, thanks for the service. Oh, you're most welcome. You are most welcome. This is, of course, my charge as my office as a fully licensed and in good standing minestrone. I run, of course, the cult of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. We're centered out here in Denver. For now, we're trying to get a project going in town. So please do watch this space for those videos coming soon. Maybe this winter. We're coming up with a spring tour as well. The 4th annual spring tour, I think, we'll be doing. So. We've got lots going on here. The snow's going to slow us down, but, you know, I get kind of depressed around the snow. But, you know, I like to do this for Friday because I can do this. Hey, weekly service, you come in, we eat a little bit of spaghetti, talk a little bit about Creator, we can do it in a building, and anyone who says this is not a real religion can come to our meetings and say it to our face. So join us during the week as we have our daily show that is absolutely not required reading, and join us next week for our Pastafarian worship services as we continue this bullshit religion into the future, because all religions are man-made, and this is the truest one because it's built by the clearest-eyed humans. So join me in a good faith effort to make the one true cult on this earth, the cult of Flying Spaghetti Monster. I've been Schizophrenic Mitch. This is Joe Leroux.
Bye.
We'll see you next time. Pastafarians, love you lots.